Hello there and welcome to today's video. Today's video is separated into two parts. One is an unboxing and the other part is a review of a Wi-Fi extender. Before we get into the actual unboxing, I would like to ask you viewers a question. Have you ever had blind spots in your home as it relates to your Wi-Fi network? I'm talking as it relates to, let's say you're using your wireless device, your cell phone, maybe your tablet, your computer, somewhere in the home or maybe in the yard, and you recognize that you're not getting full coverage with the signal from your router. Well, today's videos serve as to remedy that issue with a Wi-Fi range extender, a little gadget that can make your life a whole lot easy. Stay with me as we go through the box and see what comes with the item, and then we'll get into the review. Welcome back. Let's go through quickly what comes in the box. As you can see, I already opened it. I did that out of curiosity. Anyway, in the package we have a nice little box emerging. I won this item off an auction on eBay. It was approximately like $25 US, but what happened is this item is actually retailing for approximately about 38 to 40 US dollars. The item is actually brand new, but the box has a little bit of damage to it. Nevertheless, if we could zoom in a little bit, you would see that it's a Wi-Fi range extender. It's a TP-Link, and the model is RE350. Now, let's get into the box. Alright, just above everything else, there's a little pouch here that has a installation guide, a quick installation guide, and as well as a manual. We'll go through the manual a little bit later, but we'll just put this aside for now. And here we have the actual item. Let me just turn that around so you could have a good look at what it looks like. It's a nice, beautiful item. And further in the box, we have just this. It's an RJ45 cable. I should have mentioned before that this item, even though it's a range extender, it can also work as a regular router to route a signal. So if you have a wired connection, you can use this to connect your wired connection into this part, the RJ45 port, and turn this into a regular router instead of a range extender. But for my purpose, I need it as a range extender. So I'll just put the box and these little fine parts aside, and we'll talk a little bit about the item itself. So this is the item. You can have a little look-see how it appears. It has a nice little plug here that is rated at 110 United States standard. Well, that's it for the unboxing. This is what comes with the item, just the cable, the item itself, and the manual. Thank you very much, YouTube. Have a good one. And now for the review. I've been using this item for about several weeks now, and I've noticed a great improvement in my Wi-Fi coverage around the home. The review wouldn't be that detailed, but I just wanted to go through some key points with you guys. First of all, I would like to show you the front. The item has a power indicator and a 2.4 gigahertz as well as a 5 gigahertz indicator. Those indicators depends on what network you're connected to. If your router is routing both 5 and 2.4 gigahertz, then those indicators would come on. Around here is also an indicator. Usually what happens is that it lights blue, if like blue LED, if you're having a good connection, or in fact this is placed in a particular and perfect spot. But if it has a red LED, or pink, in fact red to pink LED, that means that this item is too far away from your router. So that's a good idea for you to look out for. At the top we have an RJ45 port, and this is used for two reasons. One, if you're updating the firmware on this item, which I did as soon as I purchased it, so I would get a better kind of performance. Or you would use the same port if you are using this as a router instead of a Wi-Fi extender. Now, if you look around on the item, there are some perforations here and at the back. Basically, those are for ventilation because the item tends to get hot. Depends on how far it is away from the router and how far it needs to send its signal and all of that. So at the side, you can see we have extensions to antennas, and these help to route the signals properly to receive and to send out signals. Here at the side of the item, if you have a look here, you would see there is a reset button and there is a button to control the LEDs. So let's say you have this item plugged in, but you don't want the LEDs to show in front. You just press the LED button and the LEDs go off. And here is an on and off switch too, so you can use this button if you don't want the item to be on. So you can control on and off rather than plug the item out of the socket. Around here there is nothing, neither at the bottom, but at the back there is a plug, and this is rated, the item is rated at 110 volts. The plug seems to be of a US standard, 110 volts, so you might find a point around the home or something of that nature to plug this in, or you can use an adapter. If you're using this in a different country than the United States, you might find that you may need to use an adapter so this thing can fit in one of your points. Now, this is basically what you get for the item. This button here is what we call the WPS button. It doesn't state that, but basically what happens is that when the item is in the works and it's functioning, and let's say you don't have the password, you can just click the WPS button on your phone or setting, in fact, and then you click this at the same time, and without having to actually input the password of the item, you can be connected to its internet connection. So that's what this button is here for. I was a bit afraid when I first used this item because I thought that this button is so pronounced, and if anybody comes into my home, persons that I don't want to be connected to my network, once they see this and they know what it is for, I'm thinking that they would have used it without my knowledge. But what happened is that I found in the software, when you're setting the item up, there is an option to disable WPS, which basically means that even though this button is here physically, once you have disabled WPS setting in the software, you would find that you cannot use the WPS button. So that's a positive right there. Now, as I said, this item is the AC1200 model RE350. It can also work on 220 to 240 volts. So it's actually a dual voltage 50-60 cycles, and it barely pulls 0.3 amperes. So it doesn't really consume that amount of power. There is also some inscription here. I don't know if you can see those, but with the zoom in, but the inscription states about the default username and password, as well as an address, a web address that you can access the settings of this item. So that's basically it. That's what you get. It's nothing too fancy, but it does the job. I've been using it, as I said, for approximately several weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and I've seen great results. Now, basically what you do is that what you need to do is that when you're actually putting this thing into the work, you need to identify where the dead spot in your home is, or in the yard, or wherever it is. And basically what you do is that you're going to place this halfway the distance between your router and where the dead zone is. So you would need to do a lot of trial and error, like what I did. Plug it into various points around the home and see where you're getting the best reception. As I said before, when you're getting the best reception, this LED goes blue. But when you're not, it goes, I would say, pink to reddish. So you would have to play around with it a little bit, and then you will see which is the best option and mounting area for the item. But this basically makes your life much easier. So that's it, YouTube, for this item, the Wi-Fi range extender from TP-Link. Thank you so much for viewing this video. If you find it helpful, Please subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, leave me a comment below, let me know what you think. If you have any ideas as it relates to future videos or things that you would like to see me do leave your comment and let me know. Thank you so much again, and have a good one.